Good morning, campers. Happy Friday. And you know what it means? Feminine Friday. So, for my beautiful divine feminists, we're going to pull some oracle cards. What is it that you need to know this week? I'm going to change my Feminine Fridays a little bit starting now. If you watch me, you already realize that it's a bit different. And I'll tell you about the why at the end of this video. But let's start from your oracle. What is it that you need to know, my beautiful divine feminine? We're going to pull from this one, my oracle deck, and from the other one as well. Shamanic healing. Beautiful card number 15. Shamanic healing. Let's read through this. You are being invited to embark on a shamanic journey to connect deeply with your ancestors, animal spirits, and the spirit of Mother Earth. It invites you to discover the shaman within, the wise healer who bridges the physical and spiritual realms. By embracing this path, you connect to the ancient wisdom of the earth, of the forest, and the crow woman archetype. Shamanism is about becoming a conduct for healing and transformation, utilizing the energies and guidance of the spirit world to bring balance and insight. Explore the sacred practices and rituals that connect you to your roots and the wisdom of nature. On some level, all of us healers, divine beings, those of us who walk the path of awakening, we're all shamans, because shamanism is simply about the connection, being that conduct, being that bridge between the physical world and the spiritual realm, right? And you know what I always say to you? That bridge is really the heart. It's the heart. And us feminines, the role of divine feminine, not just in our mission, not just in the relationship with our masculine, but overall in the work that we do, and the work of a healer that we do, is to be the connection, right? Because again, I always say this to you guys, not all people are meant to awaken spiritually truly, which means that you have your Kundalini awakening and you become an open channel, right? It's only really like 1%, right? Or a little bit more maybe. But many people are meant to awaken spiritually in a sense of awareness, right? And this is why us healers, truly awakened ones, we're here to guide them, to be that bridge, to speak the truth of spirit, to speak the messages of their spirit guides, to share these things with others so they can really progress on their journey, understand what life is about, grow, expand, learn the lessons, clear the karma, stay on the level of the heart, right? So that those shamanic practices are really beautiful. You will know how much that resonate with you. But like I said, we're all shamans. We're all the connection to nature, using natural resources that we have through sound, through scent, through herbs, through connection to our ancestors, through connection to our womb. That's really how we facilitate that passage through that bridge for other people. So maybe if this message found you, you are being guided to connect a little bit more. And I think it's on some level misunderstood as well. When people hear shamans, they see the classical crow woman that lives in the forest, the deep forest on her own, right? But we all have part of that shamanism within. And how do you incorporate that into your life, right? Again, whether it's through sound therapy or ancestral connection, and also using some traditional tools that our ancestors taught us, the connection to nature, using natural medicine, herbs in your life, in your healing practices is very important. So maybe that's what you need to work on and tap into. I want to pull one more. We'll talk and then I'll explain to you why we're going to be doing this the way we're doing this. What else the feminine needs to know about the beautiful journey? We have karmic ties, number 9. We have a past life connection. Memories are surfacing either consciously or subconsciously. It's beautiful how they link to each other, because through shamanic journey, through assistance of shamans, this is how we go through that bridge to connect to past lifetimes, right? So if you are on a journey, you know that it is one of many lifetimes that you had, that we have many lifetimes. And because we're not connected, we're not tapped in, we're constantly building karma instead of clearing karma. And again, this is why healers exist. This is why people like me, like you, exist. People who are open channels, people who are on a journey, people who connect to spirit, share messages. We help you heal. We help you clear karma instead of building karma, right? So maybe you are being called to connect to your past lifetimes through shamanic journey to understand your journey better. It's incredibly important on this journey, and it's different for it's very individual, right? So some of us, we start to remember past lifetimes on our own from the moment of activation and connection to our divine counterparts. Some of us embark on a journey of shamanic healing and past life regression with shamanic assistance to remember these lifetimes. But on this journey, it's incredibly important, because in order to ever reach inner union and one day union with your divine counterpart, that divine union in the physical world, you have to completely heal on the level of a soul, right? So us divine feminists, we have to heal on a level of a soul. And in order to heal on the level of a soul, you have to through different means you can do this, but embark on a journey of what we call soul recall. Because as we go through our lifetimes, as our soul goes to different lifetimes and different experiences, when these lives are very traumatic, very painful, especially lifetimes that we shared with our counterpart, but we were not activated to the journey, so we couldn't really be together, right? Incredible trauma and incredible pains are created, and oftentimes energetically, part of our spirit, right? Because the higher self, the soul, is always out there. The part of that energetically in the form of spirit is blended with a body to live an experience of given lifetime. And sometimes when it's very painful, when it's very traumatic, energetically part of that spirit stays. It doesn't go back. It stays attached to the trauma, to the physical plane, to things that happened, right? So as we go through the journey of twin flame, we have to heal deeply on the level of a soul, and we have to become whole again, right? We become whole again on this journey when it comes to physical. So I'm whole, I'm enough, I need nothing, I am everything. I always say this to you guys. We start to alchemize everything on a level of self. We don't need anything externally. We don't need validation, other people, love, relationships, because we have these things: fulfillment, love, joy, abundance, happiness. It's all on the level of a self. But we also have to create this wholeness on the level of a soul, and in order to do that, we have to embark on that soul recall, going to past lifetimes, recognizing trauma and calling back, integrating back. It's a very intense process. I would never recommend anyone to do this without a specialist, without a shaman who is specializing in soul recall, in past life regression, without, sometimes there are psychic mediums, coaches that do these practices as well. Because once you integrate that, someone needs to hold space for you, because you can bring back the energy, that piece of the soul, that fragment of a soul, that the shamanic specialist or a psychic medium will help you to pull that in. Healing will happen, and then integrations happen. So you don't pull back that soul fragment with trauma, right? But it's actually healed. But as you integrate it, there's a moment when you relive these experiences, you really relive these emotions, and it's very difficult. So it's good to have someone who holds space for you. And ultimately, if you work with a shamanic healing, a full on soul recall ceremony can be done when you truly pull that back in, when you truly heal, when you're truly ready to become whole again on a level of a soul. So I feel that with these two cards, this was important for you for this, because no union on this journey can be achieved without that. I promise you. And it's going to be different because we all live through this journey differently, right? It's going to depend on your individual journey, your individual mission, the wave, right? And I always explain this to you guys, just like not all divine feminines on a twin flame journey are meant to become shamans and psychic mediums and healers, and not all, I always say this, watch out, very few are actually meant to work with twins, to speak about this journey, to help others, right? Most of divine feminines go towards different directions. You're going to be helping other people, traumatized people, children. You're going to be creating art. There's so many missions that we come here with, these missions to this earth. But we all have to heal on the level of a soul, which means that we all have to call back the missed fragments that we left in traumatic lifetimes, in painful lifetimes. We have to call it back in. And again, some of you that are more like me, you will embark on a shamanic journey, you will embark on a past life regression, right? Some of you, you stay more in a life of right? Those of you that will become artists, you may, or that become teachers, you may prefer working with a therapist, a regression hypnosis therapist. Some of you may have the capacity to, if you didn't have that many trauma, that many pieces, those fragments of the soul stuck in traumatic events, you may be able to slowly do it on your own, right? With some guidance, maybe how to do that from a mentor, whoever is it that you work with. I always say this, I cannot imagine walking this journey without having a mentor. So you must be working with someone, right? So that person maybe is not going to be able to facilitate that process for you, but guide you through it, explain how it works, and you may be able to do it on your own. Similarly, like I said, it's different. Some of us remember on our own those lifetimes. Some of us, we have to be taken on a journey. But it's very, very, very extremely important to call back the pieces of your soul and become whole again, healed. That's the only way how you can attract inner union first, and ultimately union with your masculine. And now I want to tell you a little bit why I change the Feminine Fridays, because in the past, if you know, on Feminine Fridays, I would sit down and I would do sort of a quick reading for all my collectives. I have 5 collectives of divine pairings right now on my TikTok. So I would just pull a few cards for divine feminine. What's going on now? What's your guidance for next week? But I was guided, and I was thinking that it's not really that necessary for a few reasons. First of all, because I do collective readings either way. Every day I come here to do a full-on collective reading. So 5 collective means that, you know, more or less once a week, you're going to be able to have a full-on collective reading. Second of all, you know that I ramble and I talk a lot, and I, you know, get channels and downloads of messages that I always want to say to you guys, and this and that, la 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 la. So these videos were just very, very, very long, and they didn't, overall, it's 5 collectives, so it was long, but it didn't bring that much of an insight because I wanted to make it compact. So I thought, what we're going to do, we're just going to pull 2 cards from these 2 oracles. One is my oracle deck that I designed for divine feminines on a journey of healing. It's called From Fear to Love, Road to Your Divine Self, and it's sort of a self-guidance for shadow work. So we're going to be pulling one because they talk about things that we all go through, and we're going to be breaking this down just like we did with shamanic healing. And then we're going to pull one from these, I don't remember how they're called, but I'll put it on the screen maybe. They are oracle designed for, oh, it's in twin flame, oracle flame, messages from your beloved. That's how they're called. You can get these on both of these, my oracle and these oracle. You can get them on Etsy. These are done by a beautiful divine feminine. I believe she has a business with her sister, and they designed these cards. I also have their twin flame tarot cards that I often use. And they also talk about overall the things that happen on a journey of twin flame, things that are relevant on a journey of twin flame. So instead of just doing like a reading, I thought we could just have a conversation, right? So I'm going to be pulling one of these, and we're going to be, you know, chatting about things that happen on this journey, things that happen on a journey of twin flame, things that happen on a journey as we heal, as we progress on this journey. The journey is hard, the journey is long, the journey is absolute magic. It's such a privilege, and me myself being one of those divine feminines that from early stages of my journey, it was shown to me that I will be helping other divine feminines and masculines. I will be guiding twin flames on this journey, and I would receive downloads about this journey a lot, because I always say this to you guys, this is why we should stick to our mission, stick to what we do, because whatever your mission is, you're going to be receiving downloads for that. Whoever is it that you're supposed to help, you're going to be receiving downloads of informations to become expert in that field. And if you're not, everything else that you're just sharing would be just your experience, which is also fine, but you have to have it clear, not to confuse other people, right? So to me, it's such a privilege to work with other divine feminines, to hold space for divine feminines through their struggle, through their pain, through their soul recall. This is also why I designed these cards, to help you guys, because, you know, even if you have a mentor, even if you work with someone, you know that it's going to be like every other week sort of a session, once a month sort of a session. Further along away the journey, it can be every 3 months, every 4 months, right? But these can really help you do the work and do your shadow work and work on yourself every day. You can literally pull a card for guidance for every day for yourself, and that's the work, because it progresses fast on this journey. We do a lot of work on a daily basis. If you are on a twin flame journey, if you are a true twinny, true divine feminine on a journey, you would know this, that it's a hard work every single day, right? So that's how we're going to be doing this. We're going to be keeping it on a generic level to find out more about the journey, more about, right? And I'm going to be doing same for the masculines, because Mondays are masculine Mondays, right? So I'm going to switch this as well, and we're going to be doing same, because I have the same deck for divine masculines as well. And I say this to you guys all the time, that we all carry masculine and feminine within, right? So these decks are designed a bit differently. This is more shadow work, this is more deep healing, this is more feminine energy, whereas the other deck is more for the masculine energy. However, we both have masculine and feminine within, so you could absolutely use these two on your journey of healing, especially that we're all meant to heal others. So we really need to be acquainted with shadow work, with the nature of human existence. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling. I hope this was helpful. I hope you're gonna enjoy this. If you are truly a divine feminine on a journey and you watch me, please leave comments, connect to me, tell me how you feel about this, tell me what you need, tell me how these messages are resonating, tell me where you are on the journey, so we can chat, so we can help each other, so we can be here for each other. And I love you so incredibly much, and I will see you next Feminine Friday. Bye.